Hey everyone, welcome back to another amazing episode of the Brave Entrepreneur Podcast. I am your host, Jena Rodriguez, and I am a brand, business, and brave strategist for entrepreneurs worldwide, and I love helping people uncover who they are, how they're going to articulate their message and their natural talents, and how to monetize those talents and truly make a business that creates more freedom in their life and of course also a bigger impact and bigger income. And so today I have another guest, Jena Lanoue is here with me. Hi, Jena, how are you?
Hello, I'm great. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
You're so welcome. I'm so excited. We've been friends for a long time, and this is just like way overdue. So I'm so glad you're here. And just to give everyone listening an idea of who Jena is, and she can give us a little more insight. She is a best-selling author and national public speaker, and has been recognized as a premier expert in digital marketing. And she is all about sales funnels, marketing, and really helping you be visible in your business. So we're going to have a great conversation today, and I'm really excited to share with you her years of experience and her brilliance, for that matter. So Jena, tell us a little more about you and what you do for people, and just how you show up here today. What's brought you to this moment?
Okay, well, my thing is, so like I like to, when I talk to my clients, I like to talk to them about what makes them different, right? And so there's a lot of people that build online presences and that help people get their stuff out and make an impact. My thing is that, one, I don't believe in the fast money. So that's, so I always ask my clients, what do you hate? And I hate when people say, make money while you sleep. Yes, you make money while you sleep after you've busted your butt and got everything in place and worked real hard. But I just think it's really misleading that people think they don't have to do anything, and that's not true. So
Agreed.
That's what makes me different. And I make it really simple. So I don't do tech talk or the jargon or all of those things. I make it easy so that beginners can work with me.
Yeah, and you're so right. And that's why I love everything that you do. It's simple, it's down to earth, and it's realistic. Like, you aren't here to, you manage their expectation about it. Right. Which I think is huge, and I think a big part of this show is about managing those expectations of entrepreneurship, and including building our businesses and what it really takes. And it's kind of like, we're not an overnight success. We're like I'm 12 years in as an entrepreneur, and I have absolutely stumbled my toe, stumbled? That's not the word. Yeah, that stubbed my toe. Tore my toenails off. I don't know. But, and I've fallen down, but it's how you respond, right? And how you get back up. And it's also getting real about what it really takes. So even inside of marketing and sales funnels and all those things that you brilliantly do for people, it's important that people know that there's a process and there's a timeline and there's things you got to build in order for it to actually work. And probably all those people that you see out there, right? They've been doing it a while, right? The ones that
they have. And I'm not saying their success isn't real, because their success is real. It's just that doesn't happen for somebody that comes in brand new, and so yes, they can run an email and they can make $50,000. But somebody that has a list of 500 or 2,000, they're not going to, that hasn't been talking to their list, they're not going to come in and, do that. So, I'm not saying that their claims aren't real. I'm saying they're just not realistic for most people.
They're there to teach the process potentially of how to get to that point. It's like they didn't start there either, Right. So, I love that.
Yeah, but sometimes they forget to mention that in their marketing.
Can we remind people that this is not going to happen in 2 months?
Right.
So,
There is nothing passive about passive income.
That's a good point of view. Tell me more about that.
It's an ongoing process.
Yeah.
So, you're constantly growing, you're constantly learning, you're constantly putting new stuff out there. Look at you, right? You're doing this. So you're always list building. You're always getting new prospects, people that are new to you. And those people that aren't new to you, you're warming them up, making them love you more, and, giving them really good information. It's like, yeah, then you can use this to, sell stuff, but it's not passive. You're still involved.
Yeah.
You're still involved on a regular basis. And it's like, and so because I say this because I've had so many people come to me and say, I just want to set it up and then never touch it again.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, that's not exactly how it works. So like you can automate, but you're still always involved and you're still always growing because so let's take, for instance, you have a list of 12,000 people, right? And you're talking to those people, and you're talking to those people, and you're selling them stuff. But then when new people are coming in, right, you can start sending them through the funnels and warming them up. But what happens to those 12,000 people that are sitting there?
That's right.
They've already been through all of those funnels. If you never build anything new, if you never have anything new to say, you are making a lot less of an impact than you could, and a lot less money.
Yeah. Yeah. And I appreciate that much, because it is, business is not a passive sport, right? It's an active sport and an active game that you have to play, yet there's tons of automation that amazingly available to us now, right? It's like huge now, and compared to 20 years ago. So, I just heard, and I get these downloads here in a moment, and it's like, what I heard is we need to explain what a funnel is. So there may be people out there that's like, what's a funnel? You keep saying funnel. So what's your definition of a funnel or sales funnel in this context?
Okay. Well, first, can we back up? Because I also want to say something about passive. So I want to be clear, like passive means that you don't have to do anything and you have to do things. However, you can have passive recurring income.
Got it. Yes.
And it's like, and so once you've done the work, and then you can have it coming in on a regular basis, and that is passive.
Right.
You have passive income, but you have to, keep doing the work in order to continue getting the money that you don't have to work for.
Yeah. That's good. That's good.
Okay. So a funnel, to me, a funnel simply means giving people what they want, not what they need, what they want when they are ready for it. And that it's simply, because what happens a good portion of the time is we have this, nice package. Let's, say that we're a coach or a consultant, right? And where you want people to, be a one-on-one client with us. And that's what we talk to them about. They don't even know us that well. They don't know if they even need it. And, so it's like, then they get a little overwhelmed. So I'll give an example. I get a lot of people that come to me for Facebook advertising.
Right.
Would you do my Facebook advertising for me? And so I take a step back, and, they're so not ready for Facebook advertising because they don't even know, what they're going to advertise. So I have a choice. I can say, yes, I'll run your Facebook advertising, and then they'll have no success, right?
Yeah.
Or I can then explain where they need to start. And so I do that same thing online. Funnels are online and offline. I know a lot of times funnels are mistakenly believed to be a whole online process.
Right. It goes both ways.
It goes both ways. You have to have an offline funnel and an online funnel.
Yeah.
The pricing is going to be different for,
right.
Access. Online, right. The pricing online is going to be much lower than the pricing offline. But nonetheless, you still have to have pricing that fits them wherever they are in their journey. And I wanted to talk about want versus need for a minute.
Yeah.
So the other side of that is we know what our people need, right? Like I know they don't need Facebook advertising, but as long as they want Facebook advertising, they are willing to listen to me. Right. And as soon as I just start talking to them about something else and I don't address the Facebook advertising portion of the conversation, I've lost them.
That's right.
Because they still want Facebook advertising, even if that's not what they need.
Yep.
They don't know what they need yet. So it's really, really important that we're talking to people about what they want. Yeah.
What they value, right? What they value in the moment.
Right. Yeah, because they don't necessarily know what they need, right? But we get to tell them that later. That's the process of the funnel, right? We get to walk them through, giving them what they want, explaining it to them. And then I'm going to say, okay, well, what you really want to talk about is what's a great offer, and it's like, so what kind of an offer are you going to make them in this Facebook advertising? And is this going to be to people that that know you or that don't know you? And then it's like, then I get to teach them all the things that are really important, even though they came to me for something. So I could have just said, no, I don't do Facebook advertising to people that don't have funnels,
Right.
And let it go that way. But instead I walk them through the process.
Yeah.
Online and offline. Obviously it can go much faster if I'm having a conversation with someone in person, versus if they're following the footsteps online. That takes a little longer. It's a slower process.
Yeah. And I think that's really powerful for people, because we have listeners and an audience that may have different understanding of what a funnel is. And you and I have been talking this language for a long time. And so for people to get that, when you sell things, you have to have different levels of offerings or different options, et cetera. And the more access that you have personally or privately or offline, like for me, I'm, a coach. So, if you want to be with me one-on-one, that's kind of at the ultimate highest level of the funnel. But however, you could access programs online or something that's a lot more affordable in the moment. But still, like you said, giving people what they think they need, as or want, and then like educating them on what they're going to need in order to get there.
Right. And then how you deliver their need is completely different. Yes.
Yeah.
And, I think it's key though, that what you said there was, because you talked about having access to you, that customer. Well, a lot of the time, that's the only piece coaches, consultants think about.
That's all they're offering.
Right. Is that one piece. And so you're not doing yourself or your people any favors, because you're making much less of an impact, because 96% of the people that come to your website are not ready to buy.
Yeah.
So you are losing 96% of the people if you're only making that one.
That's correct. That one offer. Yeah.
So that's a huge loss of income. And think of all those lives that you could have impacted and you didn't.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's huge. And I think that's the important thing about, sorry, my phone's vibrating, the passive conversation, because when you start to offer things and you're setting things up and you're creating things and content and all those things, right, that play into this, it becomes testing. It becomes paying attention to the numbers and what's working and who's converting and how many visitors are you capturing versus how many are leaving, and because it's, again, like you said, a missed opportunity to serve them. If you're not figuring out by testing and by paying attention to what works and what doesn't work, in order to help them, it's like maybe your message is just off. It's not that they don't want what you have. They just can't hear it. Right.
They don't know yet. Yeah. Right? You're telling them too soon. You're telling them too late. There's so many different possibilities that But people get, so if you don't have a funnel at all, let's not talk about testing yet.
Correct. I'm like, there's nothing to test at that point.
It's like, because I have people come to me. It's like, do you do A/B testing? Mm-hmm. Do you,
yes.
It's like,
when it's appropriate.
Right. But, really the the key is that you get something going and that you have, you know, multiple offers. And it's like, and so that is really where you want to start, is to have, you know, a price, every different price point, from free to 10 to 27 to 50 to 200, you know, every different price point that you can, and to, you know, slowly give, you know, move people through their journey. And that's really what it is, you know.
Yeah. That's really good. Yeah, very good. Very good. I think that's an awesome overview of how you truly help people and how simple you make it. You know, it's like, you know your stuff so well, and that's what I am glad people are getting to hear and kind of have an insight about. So I want to shift gears just for a minute back to your journey as a entrepreneur, and talk about what, you know, I call it, what's your bravest moment, and, you know, just what it's taken for you to be a business owner and to get to where you are today. Like, give us a little more of that story.
Well, you know, I've been working since I was 15 years old.
Yeah.
And I was in the corporate world for many years. At 25, I was a corporate controller for a relatively, you know, large organization. So I started pretty young and moved up the ladder pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And so in 2003, I was the training manager for a large organization. And I was, you know, teaching, you know, different Microsoft products. And my husband, I had talked him into starting a business. And he said the only way that he would do that is if I would do it also. So I was, you know, if I was part of it. And so I was working as a, you know, as a manager in the corporate world, you don't get to work 40 hours. That's not allowed. Right. And so I was working, you know, 50, 60 hours. And then I was coming home and working in the business for quite a while. So quitting that steady, pretty decent salary with full benefits and paid vacations. And, you know, I think I had like 5 weeks paid vacation. Okay, wow. That now, yeah. And it's like, you know, so I had 5 weeks and, you know, insurance and all of that. So it took a lot to do that. And I'm going to be really honest. I'm not sure that if I would have done that if I didn't have young kids. Like, I don't know that I would have been brave enough. So I totally get it when, you know, you guys are kind of stuck there and afraid to take that step because, you know, but I had young kids. So coming home every day and then I cried all the way home because they would be sleeping in the car. I mean, I didn't even get to see them.
Wow.
Because we left when it was dark. We got home when it was dark and they would pass out in the car.
Yeah.
Not even eat dinner. So that was my why of that gave me the strength to be brave and take that risk and make that jump, and could always go back to another job if I needed to, right?
Yeah, right. It's like, if you can think that, you know, it's kind of like you know, because we can go into the, oh my gosh, and the I can't, and what happens if, you know, I'll never get a job again. I mean, we can go into that chatter, right? And so it's interesting. Number one, you and me both at 25 were both a controller at a very young age. I didn't know that about you. And I moved up really quick from like office assistant to controller. It was crazy. And, you know, but it's like, you do have to find the necessity of what you're choosing, you know, and whether it's a job in corporate America, but also what about the freedoms? What about the flexibility? What about having the freedom to, you know, and certainly the time or control of your time, right? Your own calendar. To be with your kids when you want to be with them, and all of those things. I mean, you and me both, I started entrepreneurship when my youngest was 2, you know, and so not to say that you and me both, we work a lot in our business, and yet we can also control our calendar. It's not up to somebody else.
I never miss a field trip. I never miss a play. I got to do all of those things. I was at every football game, you know, and so it's like, and I wouldn't have got to do those things.
Yeah. That's so good.
It's like, so I might had to get up really early while they were sleeping, or, and or go back to work when they went to sleep, so I had weird hours. I certainly didn't work a 9 to 5.
Right.
But I got to choose, so that was the key. And it grew really fast, blew up, took off, and we were silly forever worrying about it. Because as soon as I made that decision, right, and I was able then to commit all of me into that, then, it went crazy because I was able to look at getting, more business. And so we did.
Yeah. It's interesting because I jumped all in, right? I left corporate America too. And there was nothing wrong with the company, the people, the job. It's the same thing, right? It's like,
loved it, yeah.
It's all great, but I want more. There's something else I want. And a different lifestyle and a different, even income level. I'm like, this is a great income, but I know I'm worth more, and I trust myself enough to go, hey, I think I can make more on my own, kind of thing. So you have to find brave in all of that, all of those decisions, all of those hard, scary, unsafe, risk-driven decisions at times. And yet sometimes I think we have this illusion that corporate or job is safe. And the truth is, they can let you go at any time, and then you're really stuck going, what now, right? So it's just that illusion that anything is safe, whether it's entrepreneurship or job or whatever, right? Whatever you want to do, there's a level of risk, and if it's worth it to you to have the reward, right, then go for it, jump in. So.
They dismantled that entire department within 2 years. Wow. So it's like,
hello.
Right.
Thank God you left, right? Yeah. That is hilarious. That's actually quite funny because there was the last corporate job I had, they came and offered me a different position right as I was like, why are you offering this me right now when I'm about to leave you for this company this business I'm going to buy? And sure enough, a year later I checked in and they had canceled the position. I would have been without a job at that point. It's like, oh, nothing's safe.
It's not safe, and it's like, and we give ourselves that illusion. I mean, it was consistent income.
Yeah, sure. Right.
For that moment in time, and it's like, and so with little kids, having the consistent income was important.
Yes.
But really, they didn't care about that, right? I mean, that was a in my head thing.
What we think we're supposed to do. Yeah.
Right. It was what was important to them was spending time with mommy and daddy, and
yes.
So they didn't need that new toy or that Game Boy or that to make it fun.
Yeah, it's really good. We as parents are certainly have our decisions about what we think they need or what they're wanting as children, and yet we're suffocating ourselves because we're not even we're crying when we drive home, or we're working too late or whatever. So it all has its trade-offs, but I just tell you, I think and I'm curious what you think about this, but I always say that entrepreneurship is all about the potentiality. Literally, if you do the work and you hire the right people and you work with the right people to get the help of and the support around things you don't know, then the potential is huge. It's huge, right? And you're not capped out by what other people are willing to pay you, and so it's just interesting, how we come to the brave decision to be an entrepreneur. So do you regret it?
No, not for a minute. As a matter of fact, not for a minute. As a matter of fact, there was a time back in 2008 that I thought about getting a job.
Job, don't say the word.
And because the economy crashed and things were not so great. And so I thought, I need to get a job. I need to go back to work. And I actually had 20 offers.
Wow.
And so, in a time when work was hard to find, I had lots of people saying, yes, come and work for me.
Sure.
And then I cried for 2 weeks straight.
Oh my gosh.
So while I didn't hate it, I did hate being away from the kids.
Yeah.
And so they were still, still relatively young at that point, and so the thought of not being part of their everyday world just was crushing me. And so that's when I started my own business in addition to my husband's business. So that took a whole nother brave.
Yeah. And
then,
and that's interesting because I was going to ask, how did you because I know you work for yourself, obviously in this current business. And I think that's the other point. And me as well. I've gone through 1, 2, 3. I'm in my 4th iteration of being an entrepreneur, right? Different, first business, crash and burn, right? That one closed, but, and then the next 3 have been just kind of an evolution of business. Mm-hmm. And yet I think that's the important message is that, when it gets tough or outside forces are, testing you and, kind of pushing the limits, it's like, where do you stay committed, to what you really want? And I'm not saying don't go get a part-time job or go make income happen. I did too. Like I went and got some other consulting jobs to make sure the mortgage was paid at one point, however, I kept it a 1099 so I could write things off. So I could be more in control of how much taxes I paid. However, sometimes we have to do those things out of necessity to make sure the bills are paid. And yet there's a point where you still have to commit to the long-term vision. And so for you to share that about, especially 2008, it was hard on a lot of us, and you kind of just hunker down and stick with it, or look at the market differently and look for opportunity and look for how can you do this in a different way so that you can still win. And so here you are still, right? And
it took a lot. I mean, we had 16 employees at the time.
Yeah.
And so that was a lot of families depending on us. And so, we went through, because all the contracts canceled and, people stopped paying for, even money that we had out there. So it was pretty tough. And, but we still had to meet that payroll. And
correct.
So we did that for a couple of years before, I'm like, okay, we can't keep, because when we took money from every piece of savings that we had, and something has to change. I gotta, if we're gonna continue to work to pay people, then I'm gonna have to get another job in order to do so.
Right.
Yeah, so it was a challenge when I look back at it now, and I know why. I was doing things then that I had no idea. Like I was going out networking, and I was like on Facebook, and I was doing all of this stuff that, like, for the business that we were in, it made no sense. And it's like, my husband's like, I don't understand. What are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know.
I'm throwing spaghetti on the wall. What do you mean?
But I know that I'm supposed to do this.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was all I knew. I knew there was a reason that I was doing these things that had, and so I was doing them because I felt compelled to do so, and so I just kept doing it. So because I don't want to mislead anybody. So when I made the posts on Facebook and LinkedIn and I got 20 offers, I had been doing it for a while. Like, it wasn't like I just all of a sudden jumped online. I was building a following. I was building my community, and I didn't know it.
Got it. Yeah.
Like
hindsight, right, is really powerful. What worked? Oh, let me look at that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like, so then when I did it, so when I said that, and then when I got all those offers, I realized, so there's something to this social media.
What if I tried harder? What if I got strategic about this social media thing?
Yeah. Right. And that, so that's when I made the shift. And as soon as, so then I turned and I said, okay, you guys have been awesome and supportive and, giving, helping me to get the job. And I know I haven't answered you because I really don't want it. And it's like, so this is what I've decided. I'm going to take my, over 20 years in the corporate world, and I'm going to offer my experiences to the small business owner.
Yeah.
And I had 10 clients without a website, without a business card, without anything, because I built a community, right? And it was all
people to ask, right?
I had people to ask, yeah. And I had, and it's like, but I mean, I didn't know that's what I was doing. I mean, it was really pretty early on back then, it was like, so we didn't call it building a community. I was, hanging out, being social, having fun, making friends, and, being who I am.
Yeah, right.
Still what you need to do, right? and it's like, and then, those people followed, and then I would say, I would give tips about things, and I would post, because I would share other people's stuff that I thought was cool, and and I would
sometimes by accident. I mean, per se, it's kind of like we weren't intending on that to occur. I see this a lot. Sometimes we're just out there doing something and all of a sudden it works, and we're like, well, hold on a minute. What did I just do? How do I replicate that? How do I get strategic? How do I get intentional? How do I get better at it? And I think, business is so much about mastery, about whatever it is, and there's so many hats that we have to wear, from brand conversation to marketing to sales to operations to client fulfillment and clients and, team and staff and all those things. And including mindset, right, is like even just managing your mind, which is huge, is all of those areas where it's like, for me, we're not born into it and all of a sudden we know how to do all those different things. Even coming out of a corporate world where all of those things are happening, it's not usually our job to handle all of them. Right. And so, things happen, or happenstance or what have you, about like you said, I was just like connecting with people and having fun. And then when you got really intentional, it's like, well, hold on a minute. This actually has a strategy behind it that can make really big differences. Right. Yeah. And I think that's the thing for people to hear, is that, you kind of fell into that process, but now it's like, well, look back and go, what works for you and how can you get better at it? How can you master it? And
I fell into it, but I wasn't making any money at it. Like, so, right. It was until I got strategic and I made, it's like I turned it into something. Yes. It was just that, it was just having fun. But it's like, as soon as I decided to, when I physically made the decision and, to say, okay, there is something here. I am going to do something about this. Now, it didn't end up being what I thought it was going to be. Like, it went through several transitions before it came to this, right? And so, I mean, even, probably my next brave was when I let go of the 7-figure agency, and so I just, have now working more in the consulting and the training and the, coaching roles. And so that was another huge brave, so it's taken it lots of, quite a journey, not always where I thought, going to go. So even being strategic, you still have to be open, and you have to know what makes you happy and what doesn't make you happy. And, so when you're not happy, you need to step back and figure out why. Right. Because sometimes, like for me, I still went on someone else's journey. I went on the journey of what other people considered successful. So you have to have that brick and mortar type business to, in order for it to be a real business. Right. And so that's what I heard. That was their picture of success. That's, that's what it meant to them. And I took that on. Got it. And so it took a whole nother side of brave when I figured out that wasn't my picture of success. Yeah.
To do it differently.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's, again, so powerful, is that, business ownership is about being strategic and intentional, making decisions and all that, but also, like you said, being really open and course correcting and pivoting and sometimes doing it different than what other people's stories are, right? And making your own story, and your own adventure about it. And listening to those, I think, like yourself, you're an expert in but you've been doing it long enough to be the expert. And so, it's like, when we can hire those experts and go, okay, you've obviously gotten there, you've taken the time, you've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in time and hours to figure something out, then hire that so that you can expedite it. You can kind of short circuit everything that you have to do if you had to go figure it out all on your own. And yet, you know, not everything is going to be perfect for every single one at every single moment, and you got to figure that out as well. So yeah, be open, right? Be open to
yeah. Well, and then when I, you know, again, make sure you hire the right people that are aligned with what's important to you too.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that sometimes can make a huge difference.
Agreed.
Because again, you know, the first person that I hired, their vision of success was
brick and mortar.
And so while it took it to a whole another place that I probably would have never taken it on my own.
Sure.
And I'm still glad I did it.
Right.
Because I always would have wondered, you know, so now I've been there, done that, and I can, you know, move to the, you know, the beautiful next phase of why I really wanted to do this.
Yeah.
You know, and so that I am not tied down to, because it was almost like having a corporate job, right? You know,
totally.
You know, like,
what happened to freedom of location?
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, and that was exactly why I wanted it, was for freedom of location. And so now I was I was tied again to pretty much a corporate job. I went in every day at the same time, you know, it's like, and had people there, and again, loved it. And, you know, it was great. And if I wouldn't have done it, then I probably now would still be thinking that's what I should have done.
Right.
You know?
You learn, right? You you win at it or you learn, you know, it's not about losing anything. And I'm with you on the same point. You know, I started with a brick and mortar. That was the first business. And, you know, and I didn't go in going, oh, I'm just going to do this for a little while and then get out. I was like, oh, I'm going to do this and have multiple locations. And then when it ended, and I kind of unexpectedly, meaning, I mean, I ended up in bankruptcy with it. So, and I've told that story a million times, but what I learned out of it was like, I actually don't want to be tied to a location. Like, okay, thank you. I didn't plan on that happening, right? That kind of, you know, decision. However, when I look back, I'm like, okay, I learned what I learned. I know what I know from that experience, and that will serve my clients now. However, I also learned more about me, right? And more about what I really value. So there you go, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't regret anything I've ever done, because it brings us to this moment that we are on this show in this moment.
Right. Well, and that's the next part of that. Is that takes a whole nother level of brave, right? And it's like, because I was behind the scenes and I'm getting all these people out there and they're building communities and I'm getting them on video and I'm getting, you know, I'm sending, you know, making them all this money, doing all these different things, and I'm still behind the scenes, in the computer. Nobody really knows who I am other than, you know, it's like, because I wasn't building it, it was still referral based, right?
Right.
I was making a lot of the same mistakes that I had made before. And it's like, so sometimes it takes like rocks or big boulders.
A falling cliff, right? Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's
2x4s. Yep.
Oh, that's what you meant. You should have really talked a little louder.
Awesome.
But so then it's the whole, you know, the other side of it is you have to come out and you have, you know, to get the brave on and really get out there and let people see you face to face and, you know, build those, you know, and be the face of the company, you know, so you know, so that's a whole nother, you know, because I had lots of pretty good brands and, you know, that did really well, but, you know, the brand wasn't me, you know.
That's right. Yeah. You know, and I love that. I think, you know, what I say about entrepreneurship so much is that it's about the habit of entrepreneurship is about brave daily, right? So, you know, we all have our brave stories, and yet it really is a daily habit. because there's always the next thing. And so I just really appreciate you being here and sharing all this. And you've given so much, not only sales funnel nuggets, but just sharing your story and how you hold it. And how you keep moving forward in your Brave and in your of course, business and growing it and being willing to be open and course correcting. I mean, like all those aspects of business, I think is important for people to get. And that's what I hope they walk away with is what it takes, right? And you're certainly a great example of that. So last question, and then we'll make sure that they can connect with you, is what is the definition of Brave to you?
The definition of brave. So for me, it's about being afraid but doing it anyway. So just jumping. It's like going off the cliff, even if it's head first, right? And so it's like, because I mean, I still every time I go on stage, I still get nervous.
Yep, doesn't go away.
Yeah, it doesn't, but not to the same level though.
Agreed. Yeah,
it's
totally.
Like, and so it's like, wow, before I'd be sick to my stomach, now it's maybe a little flicker, right?
A little excitement butterflies, yeah.
That's right, yeah. So it gets better, but it takes brave every single time. And every single time I say, I'm not going to do this. I'm never going to do this again. I'm not, it's like, why am I doing this?
It's so crazy. Why am I treating myself this way, right?
I'm insane.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then I do it again because that's, what's important, to make an impact. So
that's how we get in front of people and then serve people, right?
Right.
Oh,
because, I wasn't helping anybody by not getting out there, right?
That's right.
It's like, so I was, helping the few that knew of me, and and it's like, but there was a lot of people that could have been a lot further along, because I could have helped them get there already.
Yeah, it's so good. I love that definition. It's that simple, right? Sometimes you just got to do it. One of my clients calls it doing it scared.
Yeah.
Just be afraid and do it anyway. Jump into the deep end of the pool, right? And so thank you so much for being here. And so as we close out, what is the best way for people to connect with you?
The best way is through my website, which is, guess what? My name. Because I'm out there now. And it's like, so it's JeanLanoue.com.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And I know you had kind of a planner or something that's really useful for people. Are you willing to share that as well?
Yeah. So it's a free email planner. So awesome. It's all about them getting out and getting their brave on, right? Because I know it's really hard for people to put themselves out there. So this is a way to make a plan so that it gets a lot easier. So it's JeanLanoue.com/email planner.
Perfect. Email planner. And we'll put that on the show notes as well. So thank you for that gift. I think it's amazing what you offer and certainly your years of experience that you have culminated and put into your products and programs and freebies and all those things. So I know they'll get a lot of value out of it. So thank you, Jean. That's Jean, and I am Jena, Jena. I just noticed that with our name spelling.
Right.
But I'm so excited that you were here today with me, and thank you for just really being open and transparent. So thank you.
Thank you. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, awesome. All right, guys, thank you so much again for joining us and listening in. Please share a review or tell us what you think or how this helped you. And until next time, let's go get our brave on. Bye, everyone.